I was standing alone in the fancy hall I rented for my graduation party. The tables were set perfectly. Fine plates, shiny glasses and napkins folded like little birds. The big chandelier sparkled above me, but the room was empty. My heart wasn't happy, it was heavy with embarrassment. The only sounds were the hum of the AC and my own shaky breathing. I had sent the invites months ago. My family promised they'd be there to celebrate my hard work. While they enjoyed vacations and spent money like water, I stayed focused, studying, saving, sacrificing. But tonight not one of them showed up. My phone buzzed. A text from my aunt lit up. "We're in Greece. No one comes to a loser's party." Before I could even react, my brother Jason messaged. "You're a joke. We used your $30,000 vacation fund." Haha. I stared at my phone, my hands shaking. My $30,000. Gone. Money I had saved for years by skipping vacations, missing birthdays, driving an old car. They stole it for their fancy Greek trip. As I stood alone in the empty hall, I whispered, "Then you'll love what comes next." I opened my banking app and froze Jason's $84,000 business loan. I blocked all joint accounts and canceled every card they had access to. No more free rides. No more safety net. I was done being their fool. The truth is, this wasn't sudden. They'd used me for years. When Dad's business crashed, I bailed them out. When Jason started his company, I paid his rent, his car, his food. When Aunt lost money in a scam, I wired her $15,000. I worked overtime, took second jobs, lived in a tiny apartment while Jason bought a big house he couldn't afford. My parents called him ambitious. I was the responsible one. Meaning I was their wallet. Mom always said, "Family helps family." Dad added, "You're single. You have no kids. It's easier for you." Jason never hid his greed. "You're doing fine," he'd say. "And I'm building something that'll help us all." But help us all really meant help Jason. New SUV. Luxury vacations. Private school for his spoiled kids. Meanwhile, his credit cards maxed out and his business sank deeper into debt. Every time I tried to say no, they guilt me. Like when Jason asked for $20,000 to cover his payroll. "If I go under, the whole family suffers," he said, smiling over his whiskey. I asked, "Why am I the backup plan?" His reply, "Because you're my brother." And like a fool, I wired him the money. It never stopped. House repairs, $12,000. Aunt's dental surgery, $8,500. Overdraft fees, covered. They always had an excuse. They always had an emergency. And I always paid because family. But they never saw me. I was invisible, just their bank account. I still remember last Thanksgiving. I was exhausted from working 2 jobs. As I quietly ate, Jason joked, "Mark's lucky, no wife, no kids, no responsibilities. He can afford to play hero." Everyone laughed. My parents nodded. They thought my whole life existed for their convenience. And now they stole my $30,000 vacation fund. Money I saved for nearly a decade. The one trip I dreamed of before my next big promotion. Gone. Blown on their Instagram perfect Greek trip. "No one shows up for a loser's party," my aunt texted. "You're a joke," Jason laughed. "We used your $30,000. But tonight was different. I was done. As I stood in the empty hall, I felt something inside me snap. Not break, snap. Final. I whispered, "Let's see how you survive without your bank account." The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Jason called, panicking. "Bro, what happened? Why is the business account frozen? Payroll's due today." I replied calmly, "You'll figure it out." "You think you're so smart, don't you?" my mom started. "Mark, what did you do?" "Jason says you locked the accounts. That's the family business. You're going to ruin everything." I stayed calm. "You mean the business I saved 3 times with my own money? The one built on my hard work? Well, I'm done paying for everything. I'm done being used." Panic spread quickly. My dad called. My aunt texted. Even Jason's wife sent voice messages, fake crying and blaming me. By noon, Jason showed up at my place, uninvited and furious. I opened the door. His face was red, his fists tight. "You think this is funny?" he shouted, barging in. "You froze my company. I've got suppliers yelling at me, employees threatening to quit. Do you even know what you've done?" I closed the door behind him. "Correction, I froze my money. The same money you used to build your failing business. The same money you stole from my vacation fund. He scoffed, pacing back and forth. It was a family emergency. We planned to pay it back once business improved. I let out a bitter laugh. Pay it back? Like the last 12 times you promised? What about the $84,000 loan you never returned? Or my $30,000, the one you used for your little Greek getaway? You're being dramatic, he snapped. We needed that trip. Mom and Aunt Linda were falling apart. They deserved a break. And you weren't even using the money. I stared at him coldly. You're right. I wasn't using it, because every dollar I earned went to your mortgage, your wife's shopping, your kids' private school, and your collapsing business. I sacrificed everything so you could pretend you were successful. His face turned redder, veins bulging. Don't you dare bring my kids into this. You chose to help. No one forced you. I stepped closer, my voice finally rising. No one forced me. The constant calls, guilt trips, your family, you have to help. You knew I wouldn't say no. Suddenly the door burst open. My mom rushed in, out of breath, followed by Aunt Linda. Mark, stop this now. Mom shouted. You're tearing the family apart. I crossed my arms. The family was broken long before today. I just refused to see it. Aunt Linda chimed in, full of attitude. We took that trip to Greece because we needed rest. You wouldn't understand, you don't have real responsibilities. You don't have a family. I laughed so hard it hurt. You're right, Linda. I don't have a family, because the people standing here aren't acting like one. Jason glared at me. You're ruining everything. I built this business for all of us. You should have stayed quiet and let me handle things. I shook my head. You didn't build anything. You built a house of cards with my money and now it's falling apart. My mom's voice cracked with desperation. Mark, please. Unlock the accounts. Your brother has children. How will they eat? How will they go to school? Her words dripped with manipulation as always. I shook my head. That's not my problem anymore. Tears welled up in her eyes. Real tears now, but not for me. Only for the money drying up. Jason exploded. You're selfish. I won't let you destroy us. He moved toward me, but I held up my phone. One more step and this video goes public. Jason stopped cold. His face drained of color. What video? My mom whispered. I hit play. On screen, security footage from Jason's office, showing him forging my digital signature on bank documents. Aunt Linda gasped. Mom covered her mouth. You thought I didn't know? I said, voice calm but sharp. Forging my name? Fake loan applications? I've known for years. I just waited to see how far you'd go. And you went too far. Jason stumbled back, pale and panicked. If you touch me or contact me again, I warned. This video goes to the police, the bank, and your investors. You'll lose everything, your business, your house, your fake reputation. Mom collapsed into a chair, crying for real now. Not for me but for the collapsing empire. Mark, please don't do this, she begged. I didn't do this, I whispered. You did. Jason stood frozen, speechless. This ends today, I finished. No more bailouts. No more money. You've used me long enough. Now you're on your own. I grabbed my jacket and walked to the door. And one more thing, I added, turning back. You called me a loser. But deep down you weren't laughing. You were afraid of what would happen when I finally stopped being your fool. I slammed the door behind me. For the first time in years I felt free. The silence after that was loud, but I finally welcomed it. 3 days passed. No calls. No messages. No drama. I expected angry texts, fake apologies, or more guilt trips. But nothing. It was peaceful. I slept better than I had in years. But outside my quiet apartment, their world was falling apart. By the end of the week I started hearing the news. Calls from old friends, ex-employees, and even Jason's business partners came flooding in. Is it true? Jason's business collapsed? The bank found fraud? His investors are suing. It all came crashing down fast. The bank found fake documents, stolen money, massive debts. All under Jason's company. With no money from me and the truth exposed, his business collapsed in less than 10 days. Suppliers left. Clients sued. His biggest investor filed criminal charges for fraud. His business license was suspended. His office emptied overnight. Employees walked out unpaid and angry. He went from successful entrepreneur to someone no one wanted to be around. And it didn't stop there. Next, the house. The same luxury home I quietly helped him afford? Gone. The bank took it back. The fancy SUV Jason's wife loved? Repossessed in broad daylight. The private school? Kicked their kids out, they couldn't pay. They had nowhere to go. That's when my mom finally broke down. She called me one afternoon. I let it ring 6 times. On the 7th I answered, just to see what she'd say. Her voice was weak, shaky. "Mark, please, talk to me." I stayed quiet. She kept talking, her words rushed and panicked. "Everything's falling apart. The house, the cars. Jason might go to jail. The investors are suing, we're losing everything." I took a deep breath. My voice came out cold, steady. "No, Mom. You're losing everything you stole from me." She cried. "That's not fair. We made mistakes, yes, but we're family." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "You only remembered family when I was paying your bills. Now that the money's gone, suddenly it matters." Her voice cracked. "At least help Jason's kids. They're innocent." I didn't hesitate. "Maybe you should have thought about them before lying, stealing, and using me. You all made your choices. Now live with them." I hung up. A few hours later, Aunt Linda tried calling. "Mark, I always supported you." I cut her off. "You laughed at me while sipping champagne in Greece. Save it." Then I blocked her. But the real disaster came after. Jason's mess went public. The news picked up the story. Local businessman accused of family fraud. His investors spoke out, trying to protect themselves. Reporters found the court documents, forged signatures, frozen accounts, the stolen $30,000 vacation fund. Even social media turned against him. The same people who once envied his fake perfect life now mocked him. Guess pretending to be rich didn't work out. Should have treated your brother better. Jason deleted all his accounts within days. Then came his wife, Kelly. When everything crashed, she ran. Typical. A coworker told me she filed for divorce 2 weeks later. She claimed Jason lied to her, but I knew better. She spent the stolen money right alongside him. Now that it was gone, so was she. I felt a little bad for the kids. But only a little. As for my parents, their retirement savings? Gone. They poured it all into Jason's sinking business, thinking he'd save the family. The house. For sale to pay legal fees. My dad? Stopped calling. Mom's voicemails? They changed, from angry to desperate to finally, silence. Me. For the first time I really lived. I got promoted at work. No more draining my money to save them. I accepted the big job offer I'd put off for years. A senior role with a 6-figure salary. The money I once threw into their endless problems now built my future. I bought my own place. A beautiful condo overlooking the city. Paid for with my own clean, hard-earned money. No roommates. No debt. No stress. I finally traveled, not to Greece but to Japan. 10 days of peace, food, culture, and quiet. No guilt. No family drama. No begging phone calls. I built real friendships. People liked me for who I was, not for what I could give them. One night, standing on my balcony, my phone buzzed. A message from someone I didn't expect. Kelly, Jason's ex-wife. "I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but you were right. I'm sorry. You did more for us than we ever deserved." I read the message. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because for the first time in my life, I was truly free. Months passed. Their silence wasn't loneliness. It was peace. Jason went to jail. Fraud charges destroyed him. He lost the business, the house, everything. The same man who once called me a loser? Now he delivers packages to survive. My parents? Lost everything. The house. Gone. Their retirement? Gone. The reputation they were so proud of? Gone. Aunt Linda? Bankrupt. Her pyramid scheme fell apart. Me? I lived. I climbed higher at work. Traveled to places they only dreamed of. My condo, my money, my peace. Untouched by their greed. For the first time I lived for myself. One evening I got a final message from a distant cousin. "You were right. They used you. You didn't deserve any of it." I smiled, not for revenge but for closure. I raised my glass and whispered the truth I had always known deep down. I was never the loser. I was the escape plan.